I think it's important to call out deceit when it occurs, whether it occurs from the Chancellor of the Exchequer or from the BBC. The BBC today have put out a report in a stark 10-minute commentary. They put out this report about drones, Russian drones attacking civilians in Kherson. And this is a grim reality that Caolan Robertson revealed nearly 2 weeks ago. And Robertson's on-the-ground report, with its harrowing first-hand accounts and visual evidence, starkly contrasts with the delayed mainstream coverage from the BBC. His narrative captures the horrifying precision with which drones target civilians, ordinary people, simply trying to survive in a war zone. And in fact, at the end of one of his films, he talks to a bus driver, and shortly after he made that film, he learnt that the bus driver had himself been hit with a drone. I think, in fact, I'm going to show you some of his footage now, just to demonstrate.
Art Centre was hit there on Thursday when I first arrived, and there was a piano surrounded by flames. Because the Russians like to destroy anything with any kind of culture and beauty. That's what they do best.
Apparently being a journalist with a camera is all it takes to set you guys off. Because here's what I've learned in Ukraine. When you threaten people in a democracy, it only makes them more determined. But look, I get it. Threatening journalists and civilians is what you guys do best. But here's the thing. Your leader doesn't want you to know what's going on in this country. Because Putin would rather have you hate people like me than ask yourself why you're stuck in a wasteland. Out here, intimidation doesn't shut people up, it makes them louder. And that's why I'm going to commit to make more reports from the front lines in this country to show the world what your leader is doing to people here every single day.
Through the streets, you can hear a drone in the sky, and they know who you are. They can download your phone information, and they're trying to kill you. I mean, they were trying to kill me. The fear that I felt when I was in Chasiv Yar and Kramatorsk was nothing compared to what I saw in Kherson. And this is what people have to live through every single day in that city, every single day. The Russians hit the market in Kherson that I was filming in on Friday and killed 7 people. And I recognized one of the people that was killed because she sold me apples on Friday, and I noticed that because she had pink shoes.
And the BBC talk about a man called Dobrovolsky. His tragic end, for instance, while chatting with his neighbour, he was fatally struck by a drone-dropped grenade. A striking example of what Robertson calls the new face of terror. The BBC, with access to significant resources, verified that Russian drones hover ominously, seemingly marking civilians for death. Angela, Dobrovolsky's widow, rightly questions, is this really how Russia chooses to fight? Well, yes. I was talking to Caolan one day, 2 weeks ago, while he was in Kherson, and literally I heard the drone while we were talking, and Caolan rushed for cover. Residents like Kristina Sinia and Valentina Mikolovna convey the psychological torment of these attacks, unseen threats from above that make even a short walk to gather essentials a life and death mission. Drones have reduced daily survival to an act of hide and seek, with civilians darting from tree to tree to dodge unseen killers. There's nothing in the BBC report, which goes on for quite a long time, that isn't already covered by Caolan Robertson. And I'm sort of shocked by the way the BBC puts this out as if it's its own information, whereas in fact this is piggybacking on the hard work of a lone reporter who was the only reporter 2 weeks ago to have gone into Kherson and to have seen the horror for what it was. Robertson's timely report, focusing on raw human stories, underscores what was missed until the BBC finally corroborates the drone strikes. His insights into the relentless trauma and the terror drones inflict paints an unsettling picture of the change in warfare, where the Russian forces are not attacking armies, are not attacking soldiers, they are attacking us, they are maliciously and specifically attacking civilians. This is a blitz. And this is what, all those people who try to say, oh, well, there's so much good on one side, so much good on the other. There's an element of equality. There is no element of equality. The Kremlin forces are evil. Evil, evil, evil. And the Ukraine forces are working very hard to maintain integrity and to fight for us, fight for the values, for the values of civilization that we hold dear. Because Putin won't stop when he takes Kyiv, if he takes Kyiv. Kherson's residents not only dodge bombs, but they wrestle with the very notion of humanity on the battlefield. This isn't just a delayed story, it's a call to confront war's dehumanizing effects on everyday life in Kherson, an angle the BBC was alarmingly slow to acknowledge, and fails absolutely to attribute its sources. I am utterly shocked at the duplicity and the scurrilous behaviour of our national broadcaster. Utterly, utterly shocked. I've worked for them, and this isn't a level of professionalism that I would expect from the BBC. This is amateur snivelling, and as I say, piggybacking on somebody else is very hard and very brave work. And I think if you have an opportunity to look at Caolan's work and have an opportunity to look at the BBC's copy, please write to the BBC and tell them that this is beneath contempt, that this is not the standard of our